Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Us Non-Classics. This episode number 3170, Doubleshot number 3064. Got two Marvel sci-fi trades. First, a trade collection was released back in 1990s. The other one came out just a few years ago. First, we have The Infinity War Aftermath. And this book contains Warlock Infinity Watch 11-17. The Silver Sword says Warlock Resurrection, also Resurrection War. Quasar 4143. Materia from Marvel Comics Presents 112. Marvel Holiday Special number 2. Marvel Super Special number 2. Mostly put, this just, by the way, the issues here written by Jim Starlin, Mark Greenwald, Dan Slott. Jim Starlin does the Warlock Infinity Watch issues. Mark Greenwald does the Quasar issues. I think Dan Slott writes one of this stuff here. Art by Tom Rooney, Andrew Medina, Tom Greenberg, Jim Starlin, Andy Smith, Steve Carr, Dale Skelton, Rita Forgotten, Rob Lim, and Derek Rubinson. Yep. The front cover works by Jim Starlin. He also has back cover too. Front cover is with Veronica Ganici. Starting off with Warlock Infinity Watch number 11. This is basically, in a way, almost a one-year follow-up to the first issue, where Eternity wants to appeal what happened in the first issue, what happened in the Aftermath of the Gauntlet. And the whole thing is basically, we also see Gamora here, a little bit Pip the Troll. By the way, Warlock is in a coma. Well, there's with Moondragon here as well. We get a recap of a lot of the Avengers here. Also, the first time Thanos is basically frozen. This time here, put in a frickin' statue. Yes. It's kind of the way this issue is more like a recap, a little bit of the events of the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Crusade War. And after a while, then it goes back to his quote. Then issue 12, which focuses on Drax and Moondragon. Yes, Moondragon is not a creation of Jim Starlin. I think Eckhart created her. Yes, I think so. I know that he created Drax, Gamora, and Thanos. Issue 12 starts off with Drax at a beach building a sandcastle of what appears to be Lady Death's palace. Yes, seriously, he made this damn thing. And this is a guy who is obsessed with killing Thanos. I say obsessed because he is. He's massively obsessed. Well, like every other worker who says, I have to kill Thanos. I have to kill Thanos. It's even like that in the Drax solo book, where he's like, I gotta kill Thanos, despite the fact you have killed him several times already. But he keeps coming back. By the way, is mentioned here about Moon. I think in this issue here that this is where they kind of reveal that Moondragon is in fact Drax's daughter. Yeah. And we see Pip George light up a match. And we see Warlock still in a coma. He hasn't moved. Also, wonderful image here. I love this sketch here. This black and white image is so awesome. We see Drax just flying around. Just sees Hulk on TV and wants to go fight the frickin' Hulk. Yes. And that's what he does in issue 13. We have Drax versus the Hulk. Yep. By the way, Hulk is in his black t-shirt phase and speak intelligently. This is basically thanks to Peter David. This is during the later half of his run, during the last, like, this is basically early 90s. This is like basically just in the 400s era for Incredible Hulk, where he's like intelligent. I think this happened prior to issue 400. This is still Peter David's long run he had for the book. So, after coming to agreement, and of course, basically, they try to, but nope, they still fight. And literally, the whole issue 13 is still Drax versus Hulk, and he wins, kind of. Then he has a chat with, I think, Doc Samson. Then we cut to Moondragon, who relaxing. Oh, in case you're curious, Moondragon. Despite the fact normally she's bald, what color is her hair? Some are asking. She's a blonde. From what I heard, the reason why she's bald because that's by choice. And then the issue ends with Drax playing a saxophone. And then we cut to issue 14. Yes, 14. Where it's all focused on Gamora. And it's just me, or it's like the artist, Jim Stone. He really likes drawing Gamora with these big, very fit woman, but very long legs. Yep. And then we see at one point we have Moondragon and Gamora floating on the floor. Yep. And then we see Drax come to a frickin' wall. And then he flies away. Probably continuing his fight with... And, well, apparently the reason why that... by the way, the base of Monster Island. And apparently what's going on is that the UN has invaded Monster Island. Yes, the United Nations. Mulligan is like, he has no idea why the heck doing it. It's like... They apparently don't accept his sovereignty, despite the fact he is living for quite a while. And then Gamora just walks out, chats with them. Your watch don't cut no ice me, doll. And he's like, I am not a doll. Right now you're a detainee. My orders include this. Why? For your own protection. You strike me as a very stupid person, Captain Hammer. How many times has he been bothered by any monsters? Yep. Gag her. And then she beat the crap out of the UN troops. Yep. And she easily beats them. It's like, yeah. So and then apparently, like, they're about to go out and deal with the UN troops, and Gamora has wiped the floor with the UN troops. And this is the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. Just wiping, she just basically just wiped out this whole army. Just beat the crap out of them. Like, I tried to reason them. The guys know I tried. I really did. Looks like their intelligence, well, haven't got the strength rating on the goal to Iron Man's level. Yep, and they all leave. And apparently Gamora is not still amused by Pip. And he briefly teleports some weird place. Yep, and we see him lifting a boulder, how strong he is. And then we cut to a weird place. We see a guy in silhouette. Oh, who the heck this guy is? Apparently he's called Count Abyss. And then the issue ends with, it looks like Adam Warlock has woken up. So after being unconscious for 4 issues, now he wakes up. And the whole issue 14 is him waking up. He wakes up, puts on an outfit symbol with magnets, sees like a past version of himself. He's like, it's when the High Evolutionary appointed me guardian Counter-Earth. First it's him, Counter-Earth, and Battle Universal Truth, Magnus. The whole issue's all about him. Like doing past versions of himself, everything gets inaugurated. And then he just wakes up. And moving on to issue number 16. Yes, 16 in this book. Oh yeah, and Drax basically fights this Lord Abyss guy. I'm like, oh, an actual villain. Yep. So if anyone fights him, the whole issue. And then by a guy called Maximum in issue number 17 of this very book. Yep. And then we have the Markham Presents issue, which focuses on Pip the Troll in issue 112. Yep, a Pip the Troll issue. And if you're really curious, does Jim Starlin write this one? He does. And he created Pip the Troll. So yeah, we have a slow Pip the Troll story, him just going on a picnic. And the whole issue is like him riding a monster. And for some reason, the colorist forgot what Gamora's skin color is. Because she looks like a regular human, not like an alien like she normally is. And then we have the Holiday Series Special, which I think there's something they collected before in a previous book. It is mostly put just Thanos remembering Gamora at Christmas time. And then we have the 4-issue Silver / Warlock Resurrection. Yep, they put that here. Right after the Infinity War, at Warlock Infinity Wars issues, they put this 4-issue miniseries. So basically how this trade is formatted is they put those whole 7 issues of Warlock Infinity Watch, 11-17, then the 112, sort of 112 Markham Presents, the Marvel Holiday Special issue, this 4-issue miniseries, and then the Quasar issues. In case you're curious, did Jim still write this one too? Yes, he did. Yeah, he wrote this book. Yep. So almost everything in this whole book is written by Jim Starlin, except for the Quasar issue. The reason? Because that's Mark Greenwald's book. He wrote that book. The book was amazing. It is by far the only book that he wrote. They wrote from start to finish. He missed 2 issues. The only major book he did at length was probably his one for Captain America, which, according to Ralph Macchio, he made the call to relieve duty from that book because he seemed very tired. He was in the book for a long time, like almost like over 15 years. It's because he was exhausted. That was simply the reason for it. That's kind of what Ralph Macchio told me when I met him at Comic-Con last year. Was Tampa Bay Comic-Con. And an excerpt from I was talking about Jim Starlin here from issue 40 of Quasar, and it moves straight to issue 41, where it's all focused on Quasar interacting with the Avengers. But most of the Avengers are just Black Widow, Hercules with no beard, Black Knight, and the Vision, who is in his white look, which later on they did finally switch back to his normal look. Now, this book, this is surprising to me that the fact this actually is one of only 2 trades to collect issues from this book. I think there's like a Quasar Classic. I think that's it. Out of this 60-issue book. So we have Quasar. This is Window Val, where he is basically like arriving at, like, come to join the Avengers. So yeah, basically the Secretary of gets trouble against security. He's like, you love security or I'll just put it down. And then the Avengers show up. It's like, who we get? I'm our boy. Ready to join the Avengers. Yep. So, it's been a mission for decades. Call me Quasar. We already have Quasar. He's only one of our members. Okay, so this guy here is not the regular Quasar. This actually is, this guy was actually, if I remember, of the Agents of Atlas. This is the guy from the 50s. He was the original Marvel boy. Yep. So yeah, he ends up dealing with them. And then we see briefly her, the woman became basically a primary figure in the Infinity Crusade. And then we see, like, Quasar, now a replacement. Blue Marvel. And there isn't a character called Blue Marvel, except at this point there isn't. There's not one called Blue Marvel until the 2000s. And the guy who wrote his book would later have a run for New Warriors. Yep. He's like, no one believes him. And then he counters Captain Marvel, who some people refer to as the real Captain Marvel. Because, of course, she was Captain Marvel for a while, and this is the character Mark keeps screwing over. I just call Carol Danvers Captain Marvel. I just refer to it as it's like Captain Marvel. As fighting her, you've been thinking, where the heck is Quasar? Good question. Well, and then issue 42, he teams up with the frickin' Punisher. Yes, the Punisher. Which I think this may have been the only time I could think of Mark ever wrote Punisher. Unless he put up with another book that he worked on. I can't think of any other time he wrote the Punisher in a book. Yeah. Cowboy tries to stop him, and of course they hit it with Thor. Although with Thor with a beard, with face covered, that is not the regular Thor. That is actually Eric Masterson. They have this weird thing with the black and white stuff here, and then we see Punisher. Or apparently, he tries shooting him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah," puts on a body armor, works with him for a bit. I'm like, how the heck would I worry about him? Apparently, it's suspended animation. I think he's later identified as he's on the planet get this, Uranus. That's where he's from. He has a freaking spaceship too, which at one point that was the base operations for Agents of Atlas. Yep. And then we see a vision of Thanos appear here. So, Resurrect Quasar. And then we have the real Quasar fighting the fake Quasar. By the way, one thing I got to note though about this Quasar's outfit here, that was actually Quasar's original outfit, believe it or not. Yep, and the whole thing with this issue here is the real Quasar fighting the imposter Quasar. Yep. And yeah, Kenzie. And, well, book ends right there. As a to be continued, basically on a bar. And that's the book in a nutshell. This book is fantastic. I love this book. There's not only basically early 90s Marvel. That for the cosmic stuff, it's amazing. It is pure awesomeness at its finest. It's a shame some comics don't draw like this nowadays. Next up we have is Black Order, the Warmasters of Thanos. Yes, a mini-series for the lieutenants of Thanos, comprised of most of the original members, including they're led by Black Swan, which she later was moved from the group after encounter with the character Star. Yes. So, the book is written by Derek Landy, art by Philip Tan, who does the main first four issues with issue by Harvey Tabell and Carlos Mina. This issue number 5. The cover is mostly by Philip Tan, with Peter Sowick did 1 and 2. Philip Tan does issue 3 with Mark Derry and I can lead this 4 and 5. So most of what we have Arrow's Glove, who is Proxima Knight's husband. I see his go like, dude, your wife is hot. Because Proxima Midnight is hot. And a little fun fact about Proxima Midnight. Did you know that Hickman designed her himself? Yep. And she actually remember in the Black Order that I remember when Infinity was being released, it's like she got a lot of spotlight during Infinity, and then afterwards it's like not much at all. And we see Black Swan here, who's another creation of his. Another beautiful woman. Yeah, it's most about the original members of United just do whatever the heck they want. And by the way, no Thanos in this book. They've got other races in here. Oh, those would be curious. How the heck did he go all alive? This like they're all supposed to be dead. Like Proximina got killed off in an issue of, I think it was Thanos. I think it was. I think Black Swan got killed there too. Yes. They were revived by the Grandmaster. Yeah, he basically revived them as part of a game with the Challenger. Yeah. I think at this point in time that Black Swan is the lead of the group, so they basically fought whole orders at this point. And at one point, they run into freaking Quasar. Yeah, that's just by sheer coincidence. So, it's a really fun miniseries. I think about going to Black Universe. And then by issue 3, they run into Richard Rider, which does not show up at the end of the issue. Actually, halfway through the issue, is like, yeah, those make me smash Godzilla, which that's actually quite funny. I mean, I think at this point Marvel can mention Godzilla, but they can't actually physically show that until recently, where they have a crossover with Godzilla with these series of one-shots. There's been Godzilla Avengers, Godzilla Spider-Man, even upcoming I think it was first was Godzilla Hulk, Godzilla Spider-Man, now Godzilla X-Men. So yeah, Richard Rider is here. And of course, he ends up fighting the Black Order. And he finally goes after them in issue 4 of this book. I'm surprised he basically doesn't say to Black Swan this, like, hey Swan, you're hot. You're like, oh, thank you. Yeah. But I'm sure he probably can't. I'm sure he probably knows the Proximina is Mary. He's like, yeah, I probably can tell she's probably hot, but like if I was there talking to Ed's Glove, like, hey, Ed's Glove, you are a lucky guy because your wife is so hot. He's like, yes, I agree with that. That's one thing I've ever seen the guy. He's only looking for a gym here. And Ebony Maw, who's part of the group too. Yes, Ebony Maw, the same guy who actually betrayed the Order to work with Thanos' son. Until Thanos' got trapped in the God's quarry. Yeah, he's still trapped there. Yeah, apparently Lemire decided to write it where Thanos trapped his own son in the God's Quarry, which is basically a nod to the Source Wall in DC Comics. And now he's back with the group for reasons. So he's doing his own thing in the last issue. I mean, this book was a lot of fun. And then they just walk away. In the book. The book was surprisingly really good. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give this book roughly 8-9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's particularly a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, basically, we have is more Kamen Rider. Okay? Thanks, you. Bye.